Welcome, race fans, to Atlanta Motor Speedway for tonight's running in the BNR Cup Series. We've got 130 laps to run here tonight. Will Roberts joining me in the booth as always. Will, how we doing?
Doing wonderful tonight, Chris. Yes, penultimate race of the BNR Cup Series schedule this season, and also elimination race to see who will be the four drivers battling for that championship for next week at New Hampshire. So this is pretty much a make it or break it, you know, win and you're in situation for some. Others, they're just trying to get through this race and onward to that championship four. So
All right, well, looks like the cars are starting to roll off the grid, so we're going to take you down through the field now. Starting off on the pole is going to be Caleb Shelton with John Tiller on his outside. Row 2 is going to be Sean Judson and Brock Page. Row 3, Cameron Smith and Josh Small. Row 4 is going to be Brandon Moore with Brian Huntley on his outside. Row 5 is going to be Jacob Carter and Timothy Cook. Row 6, George Rincon and Tyler Myers. And bring up the rear of the field is going to be Chris Campbell. So Will, what
like
are we
you
thinking
just
we're going
talked,
to see tonight?
well, 200 miles of maybe just intensity. Like we talked about, drivers trying to make it into that championship for others, just trying to ride throughout the night, just ride through this race, make it another week, fight for that championship. It is pretty much a super speedway type of racetrack nowadays with this new Atlanta. So pack racing will be something to keep an eye on.
Pace car is off. And the green flag is out. Caleb Shelton going to take him across the line and head towards turn 1. Hanging on the outside, Tiller with Judson behind them in third place. Cameron Smith in that Cougars number 9 car. Scored as number 8. Bit of shuffling, trying to get a high line move. Oh, Brian Huntley in the wall.
Yeah.
Do you not see the cookie thing on there? You have a piece.
Looks like we're accidentally joined by somebody.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to get a lane formed up high, but everybody finally got in position on that bottom lane. So
Oh, contact.
only
Smith into the back at 22 Carter.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of misjudgment on the part of Cameron, just a little bit. Brian Huntley really aggressive with the side drafting, as Caleb Shelton and Sean Judson take a look to the outside, making a pass on John Tiller, or more or less a move. Sean Judson going to stay up high with Brian Hunt and try to get that lane still formed. As Cameron
contact.
Smith got back. Yep. No caution. They're still going to race it out here. They're still green. Sean Judson took his slide all the way on the apron of the track. He's going to get back up to speed here, but just a mistimely bump from the back of Judson there, delivered from the 4 of Huntley. Just not where you want to be receiving, pushes is on that left rear quarter, or on that left rear of the bumper. It'll do that just about every time. Some kind of scraping the wall there, scattering for room, trying to get by. Still racy up at the front though. Brock Page with Carter behind. Carter pushing Page. Everybody taking the high line around Huntley. Looks like a 6-car separation up at the front. And a couple of about a second and a half, 2-second separation to the other part of the field. What transpired earlier probably just, I wouldn't say spooked the rest of the field, but just kind of put everybody a little bit more at ease, I guess you could say. More of a checkup moment, so. Everybody a bit further back, though, a bit discombobulated. Everybody's racing for position a bit further back, and everybody up at the front is more, for the most part, more composure about them, more mild-mannered. Not to say that they haven't been quite racy up at the front, only 10 laps into this event.
Pretty big gap between these two groups here, though. It's, between Shelton and Smith, so it's the top 6 and then the rest of the field.
It looks about a 3.5-second gap from the back of Huntley back to Smith and them. Smith, Cook, Rincon. Cook and Rincon, I believe, are teammates. Moore, Campbell, Myers as well back here in this group. Sean Judson only fallen about 17 seconds plus some flat-spotted tires probably after taking that long slide after getting hooked. So he's going to be on the back foot the rest of this race, especially if it keeps staying green like it is. Atlanta races can go one of two ways. They can be just caution-filled, or they can just be green all the way through, which surprisingly would not surprise me one bit with how many people we do have in this race. But if they do get racy, more contact can ensue, and a yellow flag will probably get brought out if they can just wreck on the racing surface where the painted lines are. But
this is another one of those tracks that has the caution areas or zones, maybe they should call them, are
right.
kind of messed up. It's like Darlington, no matter where you are, it doesn't necessarily count. So I feel like we've seen cars backwards on the backstretch here at this new Atlanta without a caution. But Cook and Smith starting to break away from this fat pack.
Well, Josh Small currently in the lead of this race. Only 15 laps in, and 2 distinct groups of cars. About a 6-car breakaway at the front. They're all tight knit under a blanket type of formation, I guess you could say. And the rest of the field is about 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 5.5 to 6 seconds back from the lead 6. If you don't count in Sean Judson, who is going to get lapped in about 10 seconds, give or take, race gap back.
Just how far back that gap is. You can see off the back bumper of John Taylor here, though.
Yeah, a couple of good corners. These sweeping corners here at Atlanta. Basically a straightaway length gap is kind of what you see here off the back of John Tiller before you start seeing the rest of the lead cars. So, like we've alluded to, much this season, no fast repairs here, so get caught up in a crash, you might be done for the rest of the night this evening, unless it's light contact. Most of the time, crashes here at Atlanta can be pretty big, so just because of the speed you're carrying and so forth, but fuel mileage tonight, stint lengthwise, looking at about 45 to 50 lap length fuel mileage. That's what I was told, so maybe even see them pit, 40 laps into a run. Wouldn't be surprised, so just have to wait and see when that window will open and who will be our first takers. I would assume everybody would want to have at least a buddy system pit with a friend, at least.
Yeah.
You see a lot of pairings in this front group, just about.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to pit by yourself. Even 2 people, I mean, 2 people might be too few, whereas, say if you got 3 guys coming in, you'll be able to run down another pack. But if you just
Right.
can't go by yourself, that's just a terrible decision because you're going to get stranded out. Oh! Got some contact there when you're riding on board.
Yeah, it's not sure if Brian was hit from behind.
There was somebody on his outside. That's Brock Page.
Yes, Brock Page definitely had yes, definitely was there.
I think maybe Brian just didn't know he was right there. Yeah, Brian ended up coming up into him. Both stayed though. Conley loses a few positions.
So Josh Small during that replay got shuffled back with Brian. They're now rear of this lead group. Brock Page and company gotten back by now. Sean Judson getting lapped by the race pack or the lead pack. Where will Sean fall in line here?
Yeah, however, unfortunately he's getting lapped down, but if there is a caution, he'll be the first one to get his lap back. And now he should be able to jump in this line here and pick up some speed.
Oh, most definitely, yes. Keep in tow if you can. Try to figure out, what you are still capable of doing with this car in this race, so really the only thing probably that's wrong with that car, like we talked about, is just the tires, how long of a slide it was. Brian's still making some moves, trying to get back to the front of this lead pack here, so Brock Page and Jacob Carter in control of this race, I'd have to say, though, at this moment in time. Caleb Shelton just kind of tucked in line in that third place. Brian side drafted and got by John Tiller. Brian going to set his sights on that Pepsi can.
That Boosh car. I like that one.
So 28 laps into this race, Chris, and we've had a few different lead changes, a few different leaders. This front 6, 7 cars, if you want to count Sean Judson in with this, because he was up here before he got spun, but you know, just this kind of lead group of cars kind of broken away from the rest of the field, the other 6, I guess you could say. And they are making a race out of things, though. Brian and Josh really working well together early on here. 30 laps in. Every time they get shuffled back to the rear of this little front group, they work their way back. Got back by John Tiller and Caleb Shelton. So now going to work on getting back by Carter and Page. Take a look back here at this back group again. It's still Cook pushing Cameron Smith, Myers, Campbell, or excuse me, more Campbell, Rincon, and then Myers. So I mistaken the Klondike car for another Roush paint scheme, but Myers is not in a Roush paint scheme this weekend, so 98 laps to go. Already got to the 100 to go mark.
All green flag, Will. All 32 of them.
I wish I had a soft stuffed animal or something to throw at a cat. I don't endorse endangering animals, but when they're just meowing for no reason, it's like, oh, stop. Come on now. Stop all that noise and stuff. I get you're voicing your opinion, but there's nothing to be, voicing it over. So, like we talked about, there we go, the dynamic duo of Huntley and Small, with a little help from Judson, even Shelton and Tiller. Everybody steamrolls Carter and Page. So, just a lot of pairings working together, back to the front to the back, every which way, and shake it all about. So now Josh Small taking the lead away from Brian Huntley. Closing in on our first round of green flag pit cycled stops. I'll spit that sentence out eventually. In about 10 laps or so.
Do you have an account with, catch what the fuel window is, Will?
45 to 50. So I got told 49 laps, so just probably 45 to 50 there. As we see there, really hard racing, and
Carter disappearing.
that push. Yeah, I was going to say that push that Caleb Shelton was getting from Carter pretty much became nothing as he blinked out there for a moment.
Ghost draft.
And, yep, that gave just enough momentum to that inside lane. And we saw Huntley just kind of hit the apron a couple of times and walk it up the track. You got to be careful in that bottom lane. You want to give enough room most of the time. In some cases, you know, you want to be gentleman enough like and give enough room to those fellow drivers above you to make sure they're going to have enough room as well to make it through the corner. He's dragging the wall down.
Oh, Brock Page getting turned.
Yes, indeed, got turned off of John Tiller.
Still Greenwell.
I believe they were just trying to avoid that. In unfortunate circumstances, there was just John Tiller. Brock Page, wrong place, wrong time for him to just kind of turn it down the track in hopes to avoid Brian coming out of the wall, but still there was a car to his inside.
Page going for a ride through the infield.
So that's another car similar to Sean Judson's story to not be a part of this main battle group. So Sean Judson is a part of that group again, but only because he lost so much time. He was basically riding around by himself. But
that's going to be just a terrible feeling. You're leading the race, but you're a lap down, so you're not actually leading it.
Yes, he is the last car on the lead lap at the moment because he's actually driven back around, gotten his lap back. So 3-car breakaway as far as lead lap cars go at the moment. Brian Huntley back in the lead, Shelton in second, Josh Small in third. Tiller kind of broken away from that group, and so is Carter now. So don't know what happened while we were watching the replay of the Brock Page spin, but
like maybe just get out of line. Yeah, just got out of the draft somehow and fall back. That's a good example of when you don't have that draft, you just fall like a rock. Look at him still going back now.
Well, I think Carter came back to help out Page. Page and Carter, they're buddies, they're teammates, so that could be...
Good call, Will.
Could be the possibility of why he chose to come back here.
Yeah, those guys.
We've seen... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying those guys are teammates, like you said. It's a good call. I didn't even think of that. that's probably is what's happening.
So we've seen two
pit stops,
spins.
Will.
Oh, here, yes, indeed. So lap 45. So this is the back group of lead lappery that is pitting currently at lap 45. So Smith, Cook, Page, and Jacob Carter. Myers stays out with Campbell. So now the front three come in with Tiller and Pitt. So the front four are, yeah, the front three. Josh Small is choosing to stay out. I don't think he pitted.
Josh Small coming down pit road now. Huntley, Shelton, Tiller, all coming off of pit road now. Campbell,
Whenever I
Moore,
first,
Myers, they're going to stay out for at least another lap. This time.
well, these guys, they can go to about lap 49, lap 50, we believe. So they could probably stay out a couple of more laps. Probably, you know, dance around in their seat, pray for a caution type of thing. George Rincon has parked his 28 machine. He is out of the race.
I just about to say that. Well, I just saw. I'm not sure what happened to him. Not really sure. Just had something going on and had to leave.
Good possibility.
Anyways, back to live. We are on lap 49 here. Campbell and Myers and Moore have just come off of pit road. Huntley is back in the lead now with Shelton and Judson, who is not on the lead lap, but he's sticking with this pack.
Yep, we've got a trio here, like you talked about. Judson not on the lead lap, but he can affect who leads this race by basically sticking with Brian or going with Caleb. You know, if Caleb gets a run, is he going to be able to go with any, like, is he going to be able to pass Huntley with the run because of the help that Shelton might have behind him? We've just got different pairs or trios spread apart throughout the track here at this moment in time. And we have a kind of a group back here. That's Tiller, Cook, Page, Carter, and Smith. They are catching Josh Small.
Josh going to join this group of cars here behind Smith. You know, Judson has just been hoping and hoping for a caution for the last however many laps. He knows he can be up front and run with the front, and He has essentially led a lap, except he was a lap down, but he was at the front of that front pack. So, you know, if he could just get his 1 lap back, he could be in contention for this.
I want to say it was like around lap 13 or so whenever that skirmish happened.
Yeah, relatively.
That bad bump. So to ride around this long a lap down is excruciatingly annoying. And the fact that really no one else at the moment is a lap down, and yeah, there's a trio of cars that are in danger of going a lap down, but they're just like this lead group is. You know, they're like a trio of cars, so they could probably maintain that gap, and it probably won't be until probably the next pit cycle, perhaps, maybe, that another person could get lapped. But the more this race stays green, the faster of a chance this race has of being, you know, just over with faster. So that means, you know, it may sound funny or strange. Caleb Shelton gets past Brian Huntley. I wonder if Huntley must have just walked it up the track a bit too much and opened the window, and possibility of maybe Judson. Oh, well, like he just got tight, went up the track. I don't want to say perhaps that's giving up the spot, but you know, could just be dealing with a tight car at the moment, or could have just got tired of being in the lead and decided, hey, I'll just give the lead over. So Judson would really like a caution now because he's back on that lead lap. He wouldn't have to worry about a wave around or the plucky dog scenario, anything like that. He is back on the lead lap. Page and Carter got to be ecstatic now. They've got in the lead of this more further pack behind, so maybe they could lead some cars up. They're about 7 seconds back from Shelton and Huntley.
already pretty
So
much
60.
single filed out. Wow.
Yes, indeed, Chris. 62 laps of green flag racing here at Atlanta. So pretty much what you get, especially even though we've had a green flag cycle of pit stops. I normally say pit stops as the great equalizer, and it kind of much is. Almost think Shelton and Brian might have just took, gas only, maybe from the looks of things per se, are possibilities of just other people not having a good enough pit stop with them.
Carter and Page, 6, almost 7 seconds back from Huntley and Shelton.
So they've eked in a couple of tenths here and there. They've slowly been eating away at that. It was just over 7 second lead. So finally, once Page and Carter got in front, and Cameron kind of hooked aboard the back of them. I don't know if Tiller has some front end damage or what, but he's not really able to keep up with them, it looks like. Huntley back in the lead now, got back around Shelton. So
It seems like these front three, they're not super smooth. They're kind of bobbly, and that'll take away from your speed. Where if we, you can see them moving back and forth, but if we go back and take a look at Carter and Page, these two guys, like you said, they're teammates, work great together. They're both very smooth and holding a good line, so they're able to eat away that gap, like you're saying, Will.
and that's exactly what you need. You need to be smooth. Atlanta, Talladega, Daytona, tracks where you don't need to turn the wheel too much, just enough to get the car to turn through the corner, and that's it. So it's a very fine line. Some people are just great about holding a really steady, really fine line, and others, unfortunately, not so much. You can really see who they are just by the more movement of the car that happens.
Yeah, something's wrong with Taylor. He's definitely he's just fallen away from that pack. Last time we looked at him, he was close enough that he shouldn't have fallen away.
Exactly. So the question could be, can these, let me see, five-car group, can this five-car group run down that threesome?
Oh, whoa.
Jets.
Something just happened while we were looking at that.
Yes, looks like Carter.
Ooh.
Oh, Cameron Smith got into the back of the 22 of Jacob Carter, coming into the quad oval. Oh, man. That's going to be costly. That's going to cost them a lot of time. Cameron Smith trying to help, trying to be aggressive there, but helping, you got to know when to do it. Really, that third car in line, you really just got to be the rider. You're just really the rider. You just ride. You don't necessarily have to push. And he was not given that memo apparently of, hey, just ride behind me. You don't have to be that aggro. But he decided to walked down a different path today, I guess you could say. You know that meme, you know, so-and-so woke up and they chose violence. But
Yeah.
that I guess can fit this category. Good run. You know, Carter fell back, help out Page. Look at the time that they lost too. Man, they had eked a complete, almost second and a half, I believe it was, down. Oh, might have been 2 seconds, and man, it's right back. Uh, it's worse than where they started. I'll I'll put it like that. It is slightly worse than where they started, all because of that big hiccup of just Cameron just decided to help a bit too much, I guess you could say right there. That's kind of all you can say, I guess. So 75 laps in the books and all caution free. If you ask me, if I was a race director, I probably would have already threw 3 cautions already. But, you know, we've had a couple of incidences. Not to say that we haven't, but just they've just been below the racing surface, one would say. And sometimes when that occurs, you know, iRacing is just like, nah, you know, do something better, you know, like hold my beer type of moment. So until that arrives, we're waiting on that. So we know when the next pit cycle is going to happen. We're eyeing it to be lap 96. Lap 96 to 102, I believe.
Should throw a competition caution just to liven it up well.
Well, do you have the power?
No. They would be
Oh.
so beyond angry if I did that. My fingers getting itchy next to that button box to wonder if I have admin powers. No, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, closing in on 80 laps. You know, green flag here since the drop of that green flag. So this almost could have been a 3-stop race.
I think we're just gonna see one more stop, you think, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said, 96 to 102 is probably when we'll see everybody come down that final time. That second pit stop, everybody's going to need to make it to the end, make it home. So that final trio that's on the lead lap, the Moore, Campbell, Myers, they've actually lost a couple of seconds. So they actually could be in danger of kind of going a lap down here before we get to that second green flag cycle of stops. They're only 25 seconds off the lead duo, if you want to say trio, because Judson is a part of it. It only takes 30.5 seconds here to be off of the lead pace. Because Judson's right there still in front of the lead duo of cars, so 30.5 seconds, give or take a couple of tenths here or there, I suppose, but that part of the day where you just can't stop yawning.
It's funny, I was just thinking the same thing.
So about to be 85 laps complete. And harping back, I just love talking about, green flag running. So also 85 laps, green flag from the drop of the hat. 12 drivers, 12 competitors, 12 cars still left on the circuit. Only one retirement, George Rincon. Timothy Cook and Cameron Smith change for position for fourth and fifth. It sounded like I initially said fourth and fifth, but I assure you, I initially did not. But Cameron Smith getting by Timothy Cook. So they're just playing hopscotch for that fourth position there, it looks like.
Let's say we take a crank it up break.
Righty, Chris.
Looks like we've had a couple of the packs merge up here together. We just have pit stops. So, and here we go. More Myers Campbell. All pitting now. So we took a break right through those pit stops. Carter, Small, and Page. Hopefully this is going to work out for Carter now after falling back from his teammate Page in that last run.
Yeah, one would hope, but I don't. I kind of think maybe Brock might have got a speeding penalty, perhaps.
What makes you say that, Will? Oh, he's a lap down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, Tiller, Myers, Campbell, and Moore, or who was it? More Miles and Campbell. I was expecting them to be a lap down. I think Huntley and Shelton have not been taking any tires. I think they've just been taking gas. I think maybe the first pit stop they could have took tires, but this pit stop they definitely just took gas, if anything. I have a feeling.
Well, we can see their pit stop times here, Will. Looking like they're all 15 seconds. Top 6 anyways.
Well, I have no clue then, just yeah, Page 54. Page and Judson, they both had a yeah, they both had penalties. So Page definitely had a penalty. And so did Judson, so must have been speeding into the pits or speeding before they got to their box.
That puts Cameron Smith and Timothy Cook up there in 3rd and 4th.
Yes, indeed, and now a lot of people really hoping, praying, doing that rain dance for a caution, or not necessarily rain dance, just that caution dance now. That one would hope for or need, and if everybody was to pit that's on the lead lap, then everybody, if they was to stay out, everybody would be entitled for that rule to get that lap back, get that wave around.
So Page is a lap down for that penalty. However, Carter isn't. He's up in 5th, so he can at least help his teammate. So I'm guessing the game plan has changed up, and it's go Carter time.
Well, they are 26 seconds back if you just look at where Jacob is. So they are 9 seconds, it looks like, from anybody else from the Smith-Cook connection. So I think that's 9 seconds. No, that's 6. 6 seconds, 6, 7 seconds or so back.
Coming up on Josh Small now.
So Brian Huntley could choose to just keep pushing Josh Small here. That is, if you want to call it another teammate, or they are teammates there, Brian Huntley, Josh Small. He could just choose to keep pushing Josh. That would help him out in a way, give him a bit, more of an aerodynamic advantage as far as speed towards his automobile, give him more of a buffer back to Shelton, to where Shelton has to make more of a charge at him, and he's pretty defenseless, like as far as really no one to help push him past the pairing here of Brian and Small. So 25 laps to go. And this is everybody all spread out. Half the field is a lap down, and half the field is straggling, hoping something will happen. I think really the only two people, really mainly the only person, probably, that doesn't want to see a caution, a yellow flag occur is probably the four, Brian Huntley. He pretty much has this race now in hand. He has that help from Josh, if you want to call it help. Look at the scoring pylon. At the moment, the first driver who would receive, that wave around, that lucky dog position, John Tiller in that 27 machine. That car seems a bit wounded from just maybe contact earlier with the 36 of Brock Page. Don't know if it is. It just seems like he can't stay sucked up to the back of another competitor, but don't know. We don't know at this moment.
Judson way off pace. Just not able to hook up with anybody. Kind of just driving around by himself at this point.
Even though we only had 13 competitors start, I'm really surprised not a caution. 130 laps of this race. We ran 110 so far.
Yeah, where's the commentator's curse when you need it? We've had no cautions at all. Okay, where's the caution?
Right? I've been trying all night, and this is the best we get, so.
When these guys go back and watch this race, they're gonna go, really? You guys hoping for a caution the whole time? Not cool.
I mean, it's had some great racing, not gonna lie. I mean, we saw it, and sometimes this is just what it boils down to at the end of these races. In the closing 18 laps here, how aggressive is Caleb Shelton going to get? How aggressive would anybody need to get, to advance themselves that extra spot further to battle for a championship next week. Got to remember, this is the penultimate race. The final cutoff race to see who fights for that championship next week. So they're still struggling, fighting back, further back in the pack. Even though they're a lap down, doesn't mean they're not struggling and fighting. And that Smith and Cook battle still rages on. This time it's for a podium position, third position. Jacob Carter trying to draw closer to that fight.
We got 15 laps to go. We might see Carter put himself up into a podium spot.
Yes, especially if they keep racing third and fourth there.
And like we talked about earlier, these guys being teammates hook up so well and smooth, they can be a little faster than most of the other cars out there that are trying to draft.
Yeah, and we saw it earlier as well. They can be really smooth when they need to be. This is one of those moments where you need to be that smooth. Yes, indeed, Chris. And I believe they're there. They have a tow. So at the moment, a good battle, a good bout coming up for the final spot on the podium. If we do see a caution, this could be where it will spring from a fight here. Oh,
Like they were standing still, flew right by him.
indeed. That's that organization that you talked about. You know how smooth they've been all night. And they just showed it right there. They were just able to just drive on by like a freight train in the night.
Now are they going to have to fight off Smith, since he's behind them now?
Yeah, Cameron Smith, he's going to try to take every run he gets now that he's been outmatched and overpowered by these two Fords, the 22 and 36. Now Page is going to do everything in his power to keep the feisty Cameron at bay right there behind. We talked about Page not being on the same lap. He's a lap down.
I'm not sure exactly what the rules are about blocking at super speedways anyways. I know there was concern in the truck series the other night about some people maybe blocking or not blocking or taking issue with it, but that may be just short track. So if the blocking is allowed, then yeah, I would say that Page is going to make that car pretty wide for his teammate Carter.
Yeah, there's always some uproar going on, it seems like, each and every week or almost every race, Chris. It wouldn't be a league without it.
Yes, sir.
Either good or bad.
The leaders have come up on lap traffic, and looks like it's good for Huntley, but not so much for Shelton, getting stuck behind them. Big gaggle of cars here the leaders have to go through with just 8 laps to go.
Yes, indeed, Chris. It could be good for Huntley could be bad for Huntley.
Oh, we got a yellow.
Oh, did the group back there take?
What happened? Oh, Paige. Oh no, Smith. Ooh, looks like
No,
Cook slammed the wall too. Taken on board. Smith. Let's take this one back to the backstretch. Right on board with. Whoops, wrong car. I was watching Rock Page go around on board there. There we go. On board with Smith now. Just trying to get under there. Ooh, kind of sound like he didn't lift.
go back to what we were talking to, talking about earlier, about lap down cars and whatnot. How do you approach that? How do you race that? And maybe after X amount of laps or periods of time of, hey, this person's not on the same lap as me, or something to that extent. You can get frustrated with that person kind of blocking you the wrong way, or racing you probably what you could feel would be the wrong way, I guess. So, you know,
I'm sure Huntley's probably in his car screaming right now.
I mean,
Six to
yeah, I
go.
mean,
It's gonna. That's this. As they say, Will, this changes everything.
to a
So
certain degree, yes, it does change everything. We still have the six. Are okay. It looks like, so we do have some drivers that did get the wave around. It looks like. So,
that comfortable cushion that Huntley had is now gone.
well, that comfortable cushion, having a team car or a teammate in front of you. Caleb Shelton lost a lot of time either in the pits or sometime or another. I'm going to say lost time in the pits because he is way back. But yeah, Timothy Cook kind of got caught up in that. Just he was running a good race all race long. Wrong place, wrong time. In effect, really, he was just kind of trying to avoid it for the most part. Wreck avoidance too much there. But yeah, to run all night no caution and then here towards the end get one just kind of came out of left field. I didn't see that one. I thought for sure we were going to go to the end caution free.
Back
Was
green.
not to be. Yes, indeed, back green. Brian Huntley with a whole shot jump on the field. That could be very detrimental to Huntley. Building up, trying to build up a lane to the inside. Campbell going to push Smith all over the back of Smith.
Oh!
Outside lane. Oh! Net code. I'd like to say that's net code there.
I don't know, well.
I mean, as soon as somebody came together, like it just, Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, they were going to hit eventually.
That's 22. Yeah, there we go. See, contact with Campbell.
So Campbell, I think Campbell is pushing Smith for as much as he can. He's all over the back of Smith. He just gets a bit squarely on the back of Smith a little bit there, or kind of crossed up. I don't know. And then he just meets Carter as Carter's kind of turning in for the corner. I feel that as they're going down the back straightaway. Campbell comes up as Carter is slightly coming down. It's just a meeting of the minds.
Smith,
Very
heavy
unfortunate.
damage. Ooh, I think we're
Oh
gonna get
yeah.
caught green white checkered. You know, Will, this is what we wanted the caution like a half hour ago, not now.
Yes, for sure. This is actually the first green-white checkered attempt. We have three, to my knowledge, three green-white checkered attempts. So this is still anybody's race. This is anybody's race still. And not just that, but I mean these drivers, these cars should be good to go on fuel and everything. That I do believe everybody just pitted during our first caution that came out with 8 to go, I believe it was, or 10 to go, 9 to it was something to go like that. So everybody should be good to go. And the cars, the drivers that got to wave around and whatnot, I would not be surprised if they did not come down and pit. So first, green, white, checkered attempt coming up here. This is what we're working, our second caution of the evening. It was green flag all along, and until about the 10 to 9 lap to go mark is when violence ensued, more so to bring out caution periods. And they have just cautions breeding cautions, as the old saying goes. In fact, I mean, you know, they've only bred over into two, so hopefully this is the only two that we see all night. Race pace was pretty good. It was pretty quick, pretty fast. Pace car diving back off to the safety and confines pit road. Fun fact, they use a little drag strip here for fun times. Oh, Campbell spun his tires, I believe, on that outside lane. Another hole shot jump for Brian Huntley. He's going to duck back down to that bottom lane.
And another
Caution's
yellow.
out. So third caution. It'll force us into the second green, white, checkered. Further back, some. Oh. Gonna have to. What happened here? What happened
Ooh,
here?
Smith maybe dip below the line. Yeah.
Why do you do that for? Why?
His car's messed up. He probably couldn't turn.
Well, if
Please
it's
get
that
that.
messed up, he should have
Well,
stayed on pit lane or something. Maybe rewind it back further, Chris. Is there something we missed on the restart here that
I kind of think his car just didn't turn. Let's see.
I just didn't turn? Oh my goodness! Yeah, that wheel does not look.
Oh yeah, he's going. It's
Yeah,
going straight with the wheel at 3 o'clock, 2
no, like
o'clock.
he should have just. Why couldn't we just stayed in pit lane? Like why? Why did we do this?
Yeah, that car just didn't turn.
What? I don't know what to say, Chris. I'm as speechless as the day is old. So
Yeah, I kind of can't believe he did keep that out there, because I mean, it's hard to know what your car is going to do up the speed, but that looked pretty bad. Like, he should have known that that car wasn't going to turn, or he should have, given a little distance on the field and sped up so he could have felt what it was going to do at a little higher speed.
yeah.
Anything.
So another restart. This is only the second green white checkered, so we still have another to go, perhaps.
Some of the craziest stuff sometimes. Well, we go. How many laps did we just go green? 120-ish?
Uh, yeah,
120 green laps, and now we can't get a friggin' green white checker done. It's crazy how this stuff
119,
works sometimes.
120. Too bad Brian didn't set the race up to be 120 laps. It would have been over with, but doesn't work like that, I guess. So going to get the restart here. It looks like everybody's doubling up for the most part. I think the light is the light still on?
Lights are off.
Lights are off. Yep, lights are off. So hopefully one more attempt at this. I'll get excited again, hopefully, and that'll be the last time. So really don't know what to expect next week at New Hampshire for the championship finale deciding race. Other besides, it's a mile track in length. It's relatively flat and pretty much middle to high lane to be probably the dominant line, but just have to wait and see come next week. But we're still here at Atlanta. This race is not over with. Working our third caution, our second green white checkered attempt. That pace car, hopefully it is running to pit road. Chris Campbell on that outside lane. He spun the tires in the last restart. Brian Huntley inside. He's going to have Brandon Moore right behind him. Caleb Shelton on that outside. He's going to give a push to Christopher Campbell, but nothing going. I think Campbell might have spun the tires again. Brandon Moore kind of went with Huntley there. So Moore all over the back. Oh, Moore going for the lead, but can't quite get there as Huntley pulled him back. Got really aggressive now. Everybody to the bottom lane, just about. Tyler Myers out to the outside, stuck helping the 47 machine. Ooh, so 4 cars on the bottom lane. Huntley, Campbell, Shelton, and that's Josh Maul, I do believe. So what type of run what are we going to see here? Going into the 3 and 4 for the final time. Christopher
Whoa.
Campbell floats up the track. Going up the track, here comes Shelton. Shelton in the Pepsi Challenger. He's going to the bottom.
Oh!
Oh, he turns. He
No!
turns up. Oh,
Oh my
it is
goodness!
chaos. It is. Josh Small is at the moment listed as the race victor of this race.
Oh, carnage, Will. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That block.
Caleb Shelton, Christopher Campbell. Wow.
Those were two separate incidents that happened right there, Will.
Yes, Brian Huntley doing what he thought he had to do to win this race
Well,
after
he got loose off the
Shelton
corner.
put a nose. Oh, yes, he did. But hey, the air probably got taken off the rear of his car after Shelton makes the move that he makes right there.
Look
Uh,
at this. Small wins it
Josh Small
backwards.
sliding, yes, backwards across the
And
stripe, across the start finish line, under the flag stand. Shelton finishes it backwards. Myers sideways. Page backwards. Campbell was sideways. Carter all the way to the pit wall. Just
wow.
absolute chaos at the end of this race. Thankfully, we did not need all three green-white checkers, but there was still carnage at the end of this race. Was there a car that flew up in the air like Kurt Busch style?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
kind of.
Brandon Moore hit that
Oh,
wall
wow.
hard. Right
Man,
there. Winner. Freaking backwards over the line. How great is that?
that's fantastic. I mean, what position do you want to
And
be in to win one of these super speedway, events?
and there's your winning moment.
Exactly.
Crazy. That was just crazy.
I think you're right. I think Huntley just gets loose from just me and you both, like, just, I think he just gets loose. The air gets taken off the back of Huntley's car as he makes that move that, in essence, almost a double move going from the top to the bottom underneath. And just absolute, just, I don't even know if he ever touched him there. We never got a look. But, man, just.
Alright, well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with our top finishers. welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've got our top finishers with us right now. We're going to start off with Chris Campbell. Chris, you had a pretty average race. Ended up in a decent pack of cars for the majority of the race, and then at the end there, things started getting crazy. Tell us how you ended up in third.
Finally had the chips fall my way. It's been a kind of a rough one, kind of up and down, and then it's just one of them things where the chips finally fell my way a little bit. It could have got better.
Well, with the final race next week, tell us how you're going to try and carry this into the final race, going for a championship.
I kind of like I did for most of this year, just keep my nose clean the best I can. Hopefully, come out within fighting position. I try to stay in, keep my nose clean. Sometimes trouble finds me, or more often than not, trouble finds me. But we won't change anything. We'll just keep plugging away at it.
All right, who do you want to thank tonight?
I want to thank my family and my business, Bearded Bear Custom Hides, who has financially put forth everything that I can do this with.
All right, congratulations, Chris, on that third place.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah. And now we'll have Caleb Shelton, our second place finisher. Caleb up front all race with Brian, and just a total shake-up at the end there. Tell us about the finish.
Yeah, it was kind of chaos for the finish. I was there later in the race when that caution came out that started all the fun, I guess you could say. I was there with Brian, just running second with him. We had a lap car in front of us, and I think we were up by like maybe 8 or 9 seconds on third place. So we were just cruising. And I was content to just sit there, save fuel, make sure I had enough to get to the finish. And then that caution came out, and then that's when it got interesting. But yeah, that finish was wild. Congrats to Josh for winning it.
Tell us from your point of view, what did it look like in the car? What happened right at the end there?
Oh, well, it looked like, so I had fresh tires because that caution there that set up the first green white checkered, I decided to go ahead and pit. I still had one set of tires left, so I decided to go ahead and get my tires so I would have better maneuverability just for that exact scenario in case I needed to move around at the end to try and get to the win. So I went high and then I cut it back down low. And Brian, he was just trying to block the run, and his car was on older tires, so he got loose, came down in me, and that's all she wrote.
Well, I have to take a look at the replay. From our point of view, it looked like Brian actually got loose off of 4, because initially we thought that he was blocking you, and we slowed it down. Looks like he got loose. As you were saying, he's on old tires, so.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try and block, and just the older tires didn't have the grip he needed, so when he tried to cut the car back left, it just cut loose on him.
Yeah, blocking was, of course, going to be a thing there anyways, but you being out front all night, who do you want to thank?
Oh, just thanks to the whole BNR Cup series. These guys, they usually have pretty good races, and it's always a lot of fun racing against them. So thanks to those guys.
All right, congratulations on the second place finish tonight.
Thank you.
And now our winner, Josh Small. Josh, what a chaotic finish that was at the end. Tell us about it, how you ended up in first.
Oh, I'm still watching the replay. I'm in a loss for words because I was fighting on the bubble with the 68 with Mr. Chris Campbell, which is also my teammate. And this was so crazy because I told him, I was like, you're on the outside, you're going to have the run. I love drag racing coming off the corner, especially the fourth corner, and just taking that momentum and drag racing to the finish line. I waited the whole race to race my teammate to see who was going to get that drag race. It was playing out, and then he tried to block the run from Brandon Moore so that way he can get the push. Brandon was going to try to push if he was able to block the run. He slid up in the center of 3 and 4, which gave me the opportunity to get behind Caleb and get some of the draft, which created the momentum that I needed. I didn't know that the top 2 cars were nose to tail coming off the corner. I didn't know that. I can't see that. I can only see the rear bumper of Caleb and then my teammate battling for position on the outside because we're 1 point away from each other. Like we're fighting this whole race. It was all about one single point between 4 drivers. So myself, Brandon, and Campbell, we're fighting for position, and we knew it was going to be 3 wide. And I just so happened to start on the bottom side, which I knew if I can get the bottom, I'm going to get the grip that I need to stay on the bottom. So we're drag racing coming off of 4 here, and little that I know, they're beating and banging on the outside of me. And then as soon as I pass the turn 4 banner there, Caleb and Brian make contact. I have nowhere to go, so I just basically hold my line because I don't know if the cars are going to shoot up the track as Brian's starting to turn down there across Caleb's nose. So I hold the steering wheel straight, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to battle the guy on the inside. And next thing I know, I'm facing the infield. I'm like, oh crap! So I lock them up, and the whole top 6, top 7, top 8 cars, we're all spinning. I don't know where the heck I'm at, and everybody's like, Josh, you won. And then I go back and watch a replay. I win backwards.
Yeah.
Like, it's exciting, but I'm also at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, where's everybody finishing? You know, and comms are going nuts, and oof, like, it's exciting, but also at the same time, it's, you know, tempers are flaring, and I'm still trying to gather what the hell happened because I don't know. But I mean, it was a fun race. I mean, there was a lot of strategy that was playing out. Fuel strategies were playing out. Tire strategies. I don't know what the heck went on with the tires this race. Tires were just crazy. The earlier part of the race, tires, like, they felt like they let loose a lot sooner. But the more that the track took rubber and the more we got grip, the tires felt like they lasted a little longer. And I don't know if Brian just gambled there and got loose as Caleb got behind him coming into the trioval. But I mean, it's unfortunate for those 2 guys because they had a great race. They were dominating, and they had the strategy down. I had the chance to pit with them, and I was like, well, I'm gonna stay out, you know, a lap or 2 longer, try to get that extra point. You know, I was point racing at this point. Close to halfway, so I was like, all right, it's all about points now. I wasn't trying to race anybody. I was just trying to capitalize on points. In case a caution did come out, I can, you know, get some sort of a good starting position and try to set myself up for the end there. And we had 2 back-to-back cautions, and that's what set me up in P5 on that restart. Brandon got a good restart, and he was able to pull me forward in front of Campbell going into the white flag. And I stayed basically on the bottom of the track and just held it down. And, you know, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know all this was going to unfold coming out of 4. I was just trying to run my line and cross the stripe and you know, let the points play out. And then unfortunately I ended up winning. This is the 2nd year in a row I've won a playoff race at Atlanta due to a spin. This is crazy, man. Everybody's like, you got a 4-leaf clover here, which is crazy because I love super speedways. That's my style of racing. I love drafting. That's what I love to do. But Atlanta, man, apparently that's my 4-leaf clovers. I mean, it was nuts. It was a lot of fun, but you know, there was some things that I was like, oh wow, you know, it was just crazy. This track is nuts. But all in all, the whole field, it was great racing. Everybody was, you know, working with one another. Towards the end was a little hectic, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be in the trailer talking to some of these guys, and they have every right to be frustrated. I would be too. Um, it's unfortunate these guys, coming down to that last race, you want to try to finish the best you can, and it ends up, coming up short like that. It's very unfortunate. So I feel for those guys, and hopefully they come back stronger next year and are able to capitalize and regroup for next season.
All right. Well said. Big win tonight. Oh, backwards over the line. Who do you want to thank, Josh?
Thanks, Brian, for putting everything on, and especially big thanks to you for broadcasting for us, and Mr. Will. How you doing, Will? It's been a while since I talked to you. I know Will loves doing this. Was it exciting for you up there, Will?
Oh yes, great, exciting Atlanta race tonight, Josh, and that ending was just spectacular. And just congratulations on that win there, bud.
I
Like
appreciate
you
it.
talked about, just you always seem to be right there, at the end of these play, especially in Atlanta. So
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this track. It's not my favorite track. I do like running it with the new surface. To me, the speeds are more competitive, but I miss the bumps and the cars jerking around when you're hitting the bumps and stuff like that. But I also like the speed that the new surface brings. Gives you that Daytona Talladega feel. But I kind of miss the old school. I need to white knuckle drive this car. But to each teaches their own, I guess. But it's just I'm glad we could put on one heck of a show, and I'm gonna go back and rewatch this and be like, this is nuts. Because I kept saying in comms the whole race, I'm like, guys, this is nuts, man. We went over 3/4 of the race caution free, and that's very very odd for this group, as aggressive as they can be, especially with the last race of the season going into the final four. And my hats off to these guys. They were driving their butts off, and they were putting on one hell of a show. And everybody was, they're all these guys are fierce competitors, man. You can't take nothing from none of these guys, and it's just like I said, it's unfortunate that the top guys, or the front runners, I should say, that are normally up there get caught up, in a last lap scrabble. But that's why we race, man. If you can survive that scrabble, you can come out on top. And 2 years in a row, man, this I don't know, man. Maybe it is my four-leaf clover. That's what Tyler Myers said. So props to him for saying that. But like I said, I love running with these guys. These guys, it's one hell of a show every time we run. So I mean, hopefully we keep it going.
All right. Well, congratulations on the big win tonight, Josh.
I appreciate it. Thank you, fellas.
All right. I think Brian wanted to have a word. So let's bring him down into
Yeah.
Brian.
Yes.
Hey, it's Chris and Will. Looked like you wanted to have a word.
Oh. I was just sitting there talking to the wonderful crew that won the top three. But I mean, if you want to ask questions, go ahead.
Well,
I'm down for it.
tell us what happened right at the end there.
Oh God, I don't. Well, that last turn there, the car was just loose. The rear slipped out, and that's just me. I was wanted to keep it in the middle, but the car wouldn't want to stay there. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to hurry up and get out of the way so that Caleb and all of them could duke it out. But unfortunately, I ended up sliding across Caleb's nose, and yeah, I mean that's what done that for sure.
All right.
Technically,
Well,
should have had it wrapped up, but cautions breed cautions, I guess.
yeah, we were figuring that you were probably when you saw that first
I
caution, you were probably screaming in your car. Come on now.
was very heated.
All right. Well, thanks for having a word with us, Brian, and good luck
Yes, sir.
moving
And to
into
thank you guys.
good luck moving into the final race next week.
Oh, New Hampshire.
Hometown.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at 15 Studios. If you've enjoyed the racing, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the racing action. We're going to have one more, the BNR Cup Series race next Saturday, the finale. We're going to decide who the champion will be. So make sure you don't miss that race. And once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next track.